The ring sat beside the half-empty coffee cup like a quiet scream. It was small, worn smooth by time, and placed so carefully on the wooden table that it felt intentional, almost ceremonial. The moment the Millionaire CEO noticed it, his breath caught and his body froze mid-step. The noise of the busy coffee shop faded into nothing, and the world narrowed to that single object. He knew that ring. He had not seen it in more than 20 years. But some memories never fade, no matter how successful or powerful a person becomes. His name was Daniel Wright, a Christian man, and one of the most respected CEOs in the United States. From the outside, his life looked flawless. He ran a billion-dollar company, lived in a glass house overlooking the city, and appeared on magazine covers as a symbol of discipline and achievement. But behind the tailored suits and calm interviews lived a man who had built his empire on top of old pain, buried regrets, and a love he had never truly let go of. Daniel had stopped at the coffee shop that morning because his driver was late, and his mind was heavier than usual. It was the anniversary of a day he never spoke about, the day his entire future had split into two paths. He ordered black coffee, stood near the counter scrolling through emails, and was about to leave when his eyes caught the ring left behind on a table near the window. It rested beside a cooling cup untouched, as if its owner had stepped away for only a moment. That ring was simple silver, with a tiny cross engraved inside the band. Daniel had given it to a woman named Grace Miller when they were young and had nothing but hope. Back then, he was not a CEO. He was a struggling college graduate working 2 jobs, dreaming of building something meaningful. Grace believed in him when no one else did. She prayed with him, encouraged him, and stood beside him when failure seemed inevitable. Then one terrible misunderstanding, one moment of fear and pride, tore them apart. Daniel left town chasing success, believing Grace had chosen someone else. He never looked back, and by the time he realized the truth, it was too late. If you believe in kindness, grace, and second chances that arrive when we least expect them, take a moment now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps these powerful stories alive. Daniel slowly walked toward the table, his heart pounding harder with every step. He picked up the ring with trembling fingers, feeling a familiar weight settle into his palm. Memories flooded back with painful clarity. Late nights studying together. Shared prayers whispered over cheap dinners. Promises made under a sky full of stars. He remembered the night Grace had returned the ring, tears in her eyes, believing Daniel had already moved on and forgotten her. Neither of them had known the lies that had been planted between them by others who envied their bond. Daniel sat down without realizing it, the chair scraping softly against the floor. He looked around the coffee shop, suddenly aware of every face, every movement. He wondered who could have left the ring. Part of him feared the answer. Another part prayed desperately that it meant something else, that this was not just a coincidence meant to reopen wounds that had never truly healed. Minutes passed. The coffee cup beside the ring remained untouched. Daniel's thoughts spiraled. He thought of the years he had spent building wealth while avoiding relationships, telling himself love was a distraction. He thought of the empty house he returned to every night, and the quiet that greeted him instead of laughter. Success had given him everything except the one thing he had once held in his hands and let slip away. Finally, he noticed a woman standing near the counter, hesitating as she searched her bag with growing panic. She looked older than the girl he remembered, her hair touched with gray, her posture slightly weary, but something in her presence felt achingly familiar. Daniel stood slowly, his legs unsteady, his breath shallow. The woman turned, and their eyes met. Time seemed to pause. The world did not spin or collapse. It simply went silent, as if giving them space. Grace looked at Daniel with disbelief written across her face, years of emotion flickering through her eyes in an instant. She looked thinner than before, stronger somehow, shaped by hardship rather than comfort. Daniel realized in that moment that while he had gained wealth, Grace had lived a life that demanded resilience. Grace had not come to the coffee shop expecting to see Daniel. She had stopped there on her way to a second job, her hands still smelling faintly of cleaning supplies from the early morning shift she worked to make ends meet. Life had not been kind to her. After Daniel left, She married young, believing stability would heal her broken heart. It did not. The marriage ended quietly, leaving her to raise her son alone while caring for her aging mother. She had kept the ring all these years, unable to throw it away, unable to wear it. When Grace realized the ring was missing, her heart sank. She searched her bag frantically, knowing exactly where she must have left it. That ring was not valuable in money, but it carried her past, her faith, and the love she once believed was meant to last forever. She turned back toward the table, and that was when she saw Daniel holding it. The shock on his face told her everything. He had recognized it. He remembered. They stood there, two lives shaped by years apart, surrounded by strangers unaware that something extraordinary was unfolding. Daniel felt a weight lift and settle at the same time. The truth he had avoided for decades was standing in front of him, no longer hidden by time or success. He realized that the life he had built, impressive as it was, had been missing its foundation. They sat together, the coffee long forgotten. They did not rush. There was too much history, too much pain, and too much hope to hurry. Grace spoke of her life, of struggles faced with faith instead of bitterness. Daniel listened, humbled by her strength and quiet dignity. He spoke of regret, of how success had not erased the past, only highlighted what was missing. Outside, the city continued its relentless pace. Inside, two souls slowly found their way back to a truth they had once shared. Daniel saw clearly now that second chances are not about fixing the past, but about choosing differently when the opportunity returns. Grace saw that forgiveness does not erase pain, but it frees the heart from carrying it alone. Before we reach the ending, we have a special request for you. Please comment below and share what you believe makes a second chance truly meaningful, or tell us about a moment when kindness changed the direction of a life. In the weeks that followed, Daniel and Grace rebuilt their connection slowly, grounded in honesty and faith rather than youthful dreams. Daniel used his resources not to impress but to serve, supporting causes Grace cared about and spending time where it truly mattered. Grace allowed herself to hope again, not because Daniel was wealthy, but because he was finally present, humble, and willing to listen. Their story did not end with a dramatic gesture or a public announcement. It continued quietly, the way real healing does. The ring found its place again, not as a symbol of what was lost, but of what was restored through patience, humility, and grace. If this story touched your heart, moved you, or reminded you that it is never too late for love and redemption, please take a moment to like the video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement helps keep these stories of faith, kindness, and second chances alive. Sometimes the smallest things left behind, a ring beside a coffee cup, carry the greatest power to change a life. And sometimes, when we least expect it, God places our unfinished stories right back in our path, not to reopen wounds, but to finally heal them.